City boy, city boy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And you know we gotta go ahead and do a Monday Night Raw on Netflix review, baby. Okay, so here we are on the 5th of May. All right. In 2025, the year of our Lord, 2025. And we have just wasted another 2.5 hours of our lives. This show was garbage. All right, this show was ass, man. I'm not even gonna sit here and act like it was a good show. We didn't even get the same format that we got last week when I said that I liked the formatting with the threading and how they had multiple things throughout the night kind of being reintroduced throughout the night. Like there was a couple of things, even though last week's episode was boring because of the actual content, but the actual formatting of the episode I put over. I can't put anything in this episode over. Like maybe a couple of things, but as I've said before, many times before now, the mid game for WWE, that middle game, the part of the night that is the hardest to get through, which is the mid card, they fail time and time and time again to make it any exciting, any kind of exciting, any kind of interesting. Just fail. Triple H is garbage. We had multiple releases over the weekend. We had people like Braun Breaker, a former world champion, getting released. But we still have DIY. They still have jobs. Fucking JD McDonagh still has a job. These guys still have jobs, and Braun Breaker's gone. Dakota Kai is gone. Fucking Gigi Dolan, KC Squared, you know what I'm saying? Fucking all these people gone. Then we bring up a couple of talents from AAA. I believe that was earlier today or yesterday, where they bring in a couple of talents from fucking AAA, including Alberto Del Rio. And my whole thing is, like I've said before many times, it doesn't matter who you bring in. It doesn't matter who you let go. All right, it doesn't matter if the people at the top of the creative, if Triple H is at the head of creative and he has no fucking idea what he's doing, then it doesn't matter who's there, who's not there, it doesn't matter, because the only thing that's going to end up happening is nobody's going to get over it, regardless of how many superstars they do have or don't have. I've said before that they need to cull at least 75% of this roster that they have so they were able to focus on the people that actually deserve to be there on TV. But it doesn't matter who they let go, who they bring back, who they add on, none of that. Because these are the kinds of shows that we're going to get regardless. Now let's go ahead and jump into this episode. Like I said, this show was ass and it was hard to get through, but we're going to go ahead and get through it together. So we started off the show with a recap of the whole situation that happened last week with Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins and that whole thing that they had going on. Now, they're trying to make it seem like this was like just some crazy ass shit that went down. And they're trying to put it over so hard, like this was just an amazing thing that happened last week, but really, like this was ass. Like the whole thing was boring as fuck and predictable as shit. So it didn't matter. But whatever, okay. We see the recap of everything that happened. Then we move on to the Superstar Arrival. So I thought that we had gotten away from it. I thought they were gonna, you know what I'm saying, actually swerve me on this one. Like, okay. Cool. No superstar walkouts. We can actually just get straight to the action tonight. No, they do the same shit where they do it every single week, where we have to see everybody who's arriving to the arena in their street clothes and all this, that, and the other, as if these are as if this shit is real, you know? Then we get Jey Uso coming out to start off the show. And he yeets for 7 minutes. This is TV. And he's yeeting for 7 minutes. For 7 minutes, the action in the show is stopping so that way the crowd that is there can yeet. This is unacceptable. All right, we even got another yeet encore. I'm already over this title reign. I'm already over it. Okay. Now, Jey Uso, after he's done yeeting all over the place, he calls out Logan Paul. Logan Paul does not show up. Instead, we get Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman pulls up and he says, "Hey, man, I wanted to talk to you." Jay's like, "Man, you got a lot of nerve coming out here after what you did to my family." Paul's like, "I know you're not the one that's about to try to lecture me about betraying our tribal chief, Roman Reigns." Jay's like, "Yeah, I am." Then Paul proceeds to pretty much explain the whole entire reason why he ended up leaving Roman Reigns and turning on CM Punk. You know, because CM Punk put Paul Heyman in a position where Roman Reigns was going to feel some kind of way about him regardless. And Roman Reigns, you know, he never came back to help him. You know, he basically explained everything that Seth Rollins explained to him before he turned, right? The fact that Roman Reigns never came back to help him, left him with the Tongans and with Solo Sikoa to get beat down and all that shit, didn't come back for him, never apologized for anything that he's ever done, right? Things that we've spoken about before, where I said that Roman Reigns, he may be a babyface now, but he's a shit babyface because he never atoned for his actions. He never apologized. He never turned over a new leaf. He's the same fucking guy, except now he's cheated. Same exact dude, but now he's cheated. But now also he's lost his wise man. So there's that. Just another thing that Triple H can strip away from Roman Reigns from that just further diminishes his aura. But anyways, we get Paul Heyman just explaining that whole situation, right? Jey Uso asks, "All right, what does all that shit that you're talking about have to do with me?" Paul then explains that Seth Rollins needs the World Heavyweight Championship because the World Heavyweight Championship, you see, is the key to holding power and control in the company. So he has to. So while Jey Uso might be a decent champion or a good champion, he doesn't need the championship like Seth Rollins needs the championship. So Seth Rollins wants him to name a time, name the place, because he'll fight him anytime, anywhere. And Jey Uso says that he wants to do it tonight. So that's what we got. This took 20 minutes of our time. 20 minutes, 23 minutes of our time to get to the end of this segment. And all we know now is that Seth Rollins wants a title match. There's now a title match tonight. This was a waste of time. We move on. We have the Judgment Day and Penta. They're recapping that whole situation that they've been going over. It's just a bunch of bullshit. You know, Penta getting involved in their matches, Judgment Day getting involved in Penta's matches. Just the shit that's been happening over the last couple of weeks. All right. Next up, we get Heyman, Rollins, and Braun Breaker backstage. Now, Paul Heyman walks up to Seth Rollins and he's like, "Hey, man, you were right. Jey Uso took the bait. He wanted to do this tonight, right?" And and Seth Rollins was like, "Yeah, I told you, or I hate to tell you I told you so, or I love to tell you I told you so, so if you'll indulge me, I told you so." Then he walks off. And Braun Breaker's like, "Well, what's going on? Let me know what's happening." Paul Heyman's like, "So you don't really understand what's going on right now?" Braun Breaker's like, "Nah, explain it to me." Then we get the longest explanation of some shit that we already understood, unless you were absolutely brain dead. You were already figuring out why Seth Rollins wanted this match tonight just by what he and Paul Heyman were talking about. Just by them saying, oh, yeah, see, I told you, now everything's going to plan, this, that, and the other. You could already tell what's going on. But now we have to get Paul Heyman explain to Braun Breaker for 2 minutes why Seth Rollins won at this match with Jey Uso tonight. Now, on one hand, I'm going to put this over because this is something that they need to do more often. All right. After a segment ends, there needs to be some kind of follow-up, especially if it's something that happens in the beginning. Right. And there needs to be explanation. Right. There needs to be some kind of exposition that explains the actions that they took in the prior segment. Right. In the prior weeks and what they planned on doing tonight, whatever. Right. These are things that should be happening. But I'm going to have to say it sucked, though, because of how much they gave away in this and how much, like, Paul Heyman just goes on for like 2 minutes. Oh, well, you see, Roman Reigns, he had to prepare for Seth Rollins. CM Punk had to prepare for Seth Rollins, and they both got stomped out at WrestleMania and got hit with the 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso, he may be a great champion because he tapped out Gunther or whatever, but at the end of the day, Jey Uso, he has not prepared for Seth Rollins, and therefore Seth Rollins is a guy that needs to be prepared for, so therefore Jey Uso will be losing his title tonight. And that's the shortened version of it. That's the shortened version of it. Because he was going on forever. And Braun Breaker's there, standing there like looking like an idiot. We still don't know why Braun Breaker is involved in this whole situation, what he's getting out of this whole situation, if he's getting title opportunities. What is he getting out of this whole situation? He's just there, looking like a complete jabroni, all right? But whatever, that's what happened. We move the fuck on. We have a match between Penta and JD McDonagh. This match was too fucking long. I didn't want to see it. No, I was not excited for it at all. All right. A couple things that happened in the match. Finn and Carlito, they were causing some Finn Balor and Carlito, they were causing some havoc outside of the ring. So they ended up getting tossed out like more people should be getting tossed out. Right. Then Chad Gable came out to try to also fuck with Penta. Penta took Chad Gable out by doing like a flying meteora or some shit over the fucking over the top rope. And Penta ends up winning this match. So JD McDonagh, let me tell you, this man cracked his cranium on an announce table, finished the match with a punctured lung and like bruised ribs or some shit like that. And you mean to tell me he's out for 2 months and then he comes back? First thing that he does is lose 2 matches in a row. Gets pinned 2 matches in a row. That is your reward for staying in the match, getting your cranium cracked. JD McDonagh. I'm not saying I even like JD McDonagh, but if you're gonna bring him back, why are you bringing him back just specifically to job? Just to job out to Penta, to job out to the War Raiders. This is crazy. JD needs to move on to AEW where they love skinny twinks like him. We move on to Austin Theory and Grayson Waller backstage. All right, Grayson Waller, he's talking to Adam Pearce first. He's like, what? I didn't know that's who my opponent was going to be, right? Austin Theory then comes up. He's like, hey, what are y'all talking about? He's like, hey, and Grayson Waller's like, hey, man, look, here's the thing. I have a match tonight, but I was thinking that it might be just a little selfish of me to have tried to go and get a singles match. So I figured, why don't you go ahead, take this match, because it'll be a great opportunity for you. Austin Theory's like, oh, well, I appreciate that. Adam Pearce makes it official. He's like, well, who's the opponent? And Grayson's like, all right, this is a surprise. It'll be better as a surprise. Next up, we get Austin Theory versus a returning Sheamus. All right, Sheamus makes his return. And he beats the dog shit out of Austin Theory for about 10 minutes. And then he wins. And Austin Theory is mad at Grayson Waller. And nobody could care. We move on. All right. Well, it's good to see Sheamus back. But like I said before, none of these people are even characters anymore. So it's like, all right, Sheamus is back. But what is he going to do? Is he just going to continue to beat up on jobbers and get beat by anybody who's coming up the card? Like, who cares, right? So Sheamus is back, and that's cool, but we don't really care because like I said, there's no characters anymore. Next, we get Judgment Day. They're backstage. They're saying some words, and then AJ Styles pops up out of nowhere to basically say that he's coming after that Intercontinental Championship. This is a very weird segment. All right, AJ is like flustered. I don't know if this was like a bad cut that they put in, right, where AJ was getting flustered while saying his lines, but that's what it looked like, because he was like, he even said it in there. He was like, I don't know why I'm getting flustered right now. And then he goes and delivers the line again, which was, I'm going to come after your Intercontinental title, and there's nothing that y'all can do to stop me, right? And then Dom, he asks Finn, he's like, hey, you have history with AJ. I was wondering if you could take care of him. Finn's like, what? So I'm covering for you now? I'm cleaning up your messes now? And then he's like, don't worry about it, buddy. I got you, right? Changes his whole demeanor. So we're still doing this whole gimmick. This whole thing needs to just shut down immediately. I'm tired of it. Move on. Let's fucking move on. Let's let it go. Let's let it go. Disband the Judgment Day yesterday. All right? Just fucking do it. I don't care about Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. And we move the fuck on. Becky Lynch comes out to cut a promo. She's just loud. She's loud. She's Irish. That's her character right now. So, she says that, she took out the trash at WrestleMania, which was Bayley. Nobody complained then, so nobody should be complaining now. You should be thanking her for taking out the trash. Here comes Lyra Valkyria. And like I said in her first promo, this could be good for Lyra Valkyria. I don't think that she's horrible at cutting promos. I think that she has something that's there for her to be able to cut good promos. But the problem is that the only promos that she's able to cut as a result of her not having a character are promos where she talks about her being a better wrestler or her being a better person than Becky Lynch. And that is not interesting. There has to actually be some kind of underlying story. There has to be a story. There has to be an actual legitimate conflict, not just, oh, I'm a better person than you. People warn me about you. I'm a better person and I'm a better wrestler and I'm gonna show you you've been the same person all this time. Like, this shit is not interesting. So, and none of the stuff that she's saying is interesting, but she's saying it with a lot of bravado. All right. So, like I said, this could have been good for Lyra, but she's so handicapped by the fact that she doesn't have a character. She doesn't have anybody sitting down with her, trying to figure out who her character is, what her gimmick is, and how to write lines for her that make her look or come off more natural each and every single week. She's just not getting that, right? So whatever, we move on. There's a brawl here between fucking Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. Lyra Valkyria ends up coming out on top and holding up the championship. I believe their match is here at Backlash, so I'm guessing that Becky Lynch is going to win, but we'll see how that whole situation plays out. We move the fuck on. We got Roxanne Perez versus Iyo Sky. This match, once again, way too fucking long. This match was like 15 to 20 minutes, bro. This match has no story. We have no idea what the fuck is going on between Roxanne Perez and Iyo Sky. Why Roxanne Perez is attacking Iyo Sky is literally anybody's guess. It's literally anybody's guess at this point. Roxanne Perez is just out there. She hasn't cut a promo. She hasn't got a vignette. None of that. And for some fucking reason, she's just out here in matches with the world champion. She just got up from NXT. This was the whole problem that I was explaining before even WrestleMania, before Iyo Sky retained at WrestleMania, is the fact that if Iyo Sky wins, they have nothing for her. At least if Bianca won, they would have Jade for her. If Rhea Ripley won that match, they would be able to say, okay, well, Iyo was in that match. Bianca, I want you. Or Iyo, I want you one-on-one. At least they would have those two matches. They have nothing for Iyo. So they brought up a couple of bitches from NXT. Instead of using the talent that's on the main roster already, you bring up a couple bitches from NXT. You don't give them any promo, no vignettes, no nothing. Just matches, match after match after match, week after week after week with Iyo Sky, and credit to her, right? She's out there wrestling every week like a good champion should. But the problem is that she's going 50-50 with people that are down in NXT. 15 to 20 minute matches. And then this match ends. Excuse me, I'm flustered right now. Man, fuck. And then this match fucking ends with 13 damn roll-ups. 13 roll-ups. It's one roll-up after one roll-up after one roll-up. Iyo rolls up Roxanne. Then Roxanne counters that roll-up into another roll-up. Then they counter back. Then another counter. Then another counter. And then all of a sudden on the 13th counter, Iyo's on top. Iyo pins Roxanne Perez for the 3 count. And that's how the match ends. After damn near 20 minutes. This whole match pissed me off. And then after the match, I'm even more pissed because Roxanne Perez, she tries to show some respect to Iyo Sky. Iyo Sky shakes her hand. All right, Roxanne Perez gets out of the ring. Julia comes out of nowhere. Julia from NXT pops up out of nowhere, hits Iyo Sky from behind. Here comes Roxanne Perez into the ring, and Roxanne and Julia, they beat down Iyo Sky. And what are we supposed to do with this? They beat her down. There's no Rhea Ripley this week, right? There's none of that this week for some reason. They just beat down Iyo Sky, then walk away. No words, no nothing, no explanation. We have no idea why these bitches are here. Like I said, this whole thing pissed me off, okay? Because I have no idea what the fuck is going on, and they're not even trying to explain it. Next, we get Rusev versus Otis, and I have every single problem with this match that I had with the match that Malachi Black had, or Aleister Black had, in his match against The Miz on Friday. You bring these people back. At least Rusev got a vignette, but even his vignette was, I plan on being the jobber. All right, I plan on just breaking people, making them better, shit like this, right? He comes out in his first match against Otis, somebody who hasn't won a match in like 6 months at this point. Otis hasn't won a match in 6 months, and somehow he's going 50-50 with Rusev, and this match lasts like 5 to 10 minutes. And after the match, after Rusev wins, puts the accolade on Rusev, Tozawa gets in the ring. Little ass Tozawa gets in the ring. Rusev, and Tozawa's bucking up at Rusev. He's like, I want you right now. Let's do this right now. You big and bad. Let's do this shit right now. Rusev gets out of the ring. Walks away from Tozawa. Tozawa goes to check on Otis. Then here comes Rusev from behind. No diddy. And he hits Tozawa with a powerbomb on top of Otis. So is he a cowardly heel? Rusev, this big 300-pound fucking Bulgarian, this absolute unit of a human being, is scared of Tozawa, has to attack Tozawa from behind. Why is he a cowardly heel? This makes no sense. So you go 50-50 with Otis, and you're scared of Tozawa. You have to attack him from behind. You're not just going to beat him up right to his face. What does this do for Rusev? What does this do for Otis? What does this do for Tozawa? Tozawa literally came out looking the strongest in this entire thing. But whatever, we move on. We got Adam Pearce bringing out Pat McAfee and Gunther for their little promo session. This was retarded. This whole thing, I'm not even going to really spend too much time on it. This whole entire thing is just a complete burial of Gunther. I'm not the biggest fan of Gunther, all right? And that's fine, and that's dandy. At the end of the day, this is just an insult to anybody's intelligence that Pat McAfee could have any fucking possible chance. And why is Pat McAfee allowed to sit there speaking all crazy in Gunther's face for 5 to 6 minutes during his promo without Gunther choke slamming this motherfucker through the damn pavement? All right, there's no fucking way that Pat McAfee should be able to have this much bark against a former world champion. Pat McAfee standing there with a fucking beer gut and pigeon toes talking to a former world heavyweight champ as if he's a little boy. What are we doing here? What are we fucking doing here? This shit was retarded. Gunther, you know, he's not great at his job, but he deserves better than this. This is crazy. We move on to a little fucking vignette or video package for Randy Orton and John Cena from their I Quit match from 2009. Once again, reliving my childhood. Neither Randy Orton, nor John Cena, nor Roman Reigns, nor Cody Rhodes was on this show tonight. So, you know, show us something, right? Show us something. Now we have the main event, okay? Like I said, there was no threading throughout this show, so we just pop up at the main event between Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, okay? This match was far too long, okay? And this match buries Jey Uso. It buries Seth Rollins. They both look weak at the end of this match because both of them had their finishers buried. It is what it is. How does Seth Rollins kick out of the spear and the splash combo? That's supposed to be Jey Uso's finisher, his whole finishing sequence, and he kicks out of that. How does Jey Uso kick out of a pedigree, 2 stomps, motherfucking all kinds of shit, and he's just kicking out a superplex, arrow, falcon arrow, all this shit. He's kicking out of all this shit. This is his first defense, and it ends in like a DQ, no contest, because Sami Zayn got involved. Braun Breaker got involved, right? Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn, they're outside, they're battling, right? They're getting the whole match involved. They're getting involved in the whole match. And then here comes CM Punk. After Seth Rollins hits Jey Uso with a stomp, here comes CM Punk. CM Punk throws a chair at Braun Breaker, gets in the ring, hits Seth Rollins with the chair, beats everybody down, right? There's 3 baby faces out there. For some reason, this shit makes no sense at all. We got Seth Rollins and fucking Braun Breaker retreating when we're supposed to be getting heat on this heel team, right? They're retreating like little bitches, like pussies. What is going on creatively, man? This shit makes no sense. But if you listen to Hunter Hearst Helmsley, I don't know if you've heard, in his most recent interview that he did, he said, oh, you know, it's its own world. Wrestling is like its own little world, so it doesn't really have to make sense. So we get shit like this, where it just doesn't make any logical sense. It doesn't make logical sense, and it doesn't make narrative sense. We're supposed to want the baby faces to succeed, and the baby faces should be getting their comeuppance at the pay-per-views, at the PLEs, at the big events. And here we are on a Monday Night Raw, and we have our supposed top heel group, our new top heel group, retreating 3 weeks into their run. And this was the last show before Backlash, mind you. This shit was ass. I give this show a 2 out of 10. This was a horrible, horrible show. All right. And I don't know what else. Obviously I'm going to watch for, on Smack. I'm going to watch SmackDown and watch Backlash, but I just don't understand. I don't know what they're going to do to actually drum up excitement because they have so much shit lined up. One after one after one after one. You got Backlash this Saturday. Then 2 weeks after that, you got Saturday Night Main Events. Then after that, you got an unnamed pay-per-view. And then after that, you have SummerSlam. It's back to back to back to back to back over the next 2 months. So we're going to get this fucking rushed, sloppy, disgruntled, or disjointed, I should say, product with no actual creative heart put into it. Triple H does not care about making sense at this point. He said it in his interview. So let me know what y'all thought down in the show, down in the comments below. All right. Did you like the show? Did you hate the show? Did you love the show? Did you think the show was great? Let me know. I want to hear all y'all's comments down below. I've been going through a lot lately. Y'all know I've been going through a lot. My channel got demonetized. I tried to put an appeal in, but they rejected my appeal. So we're going to have to, so anybody who's wondering why the memberships have, stopped for now. So if you want to donate to the channel directly, all my information is in, my actual channel description. So if you want to do that directly, you can do that there. I appreciate everybody that's helping, that has been a member for the last couple of months on the channel. We'll get everything back here and within short order. So once again, let me know what y'all think down below of the show. This has been your boy Nate the Great, back with another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.